I want to talk about the Luke Belmar incident since he's been exposed because I have a very unique position that not a lot of people have, which is I knew him before he was famous because I actually met him in 2019 in Singapore. Okay, here you have him. And this was at a mastermind from Steve Tan and Evan Tan. I'm here in the background. And basically, in this mastermind, I was able to meet Luke when we were basically like right at the same point in terms of success. I think he was making a little bit more than me, but we were not that far off back then. And we got along pretty well. We even jumped on a few Skype calls after that, and we exchanged business ideas, business models, right? Because I eventually went from doing e-commerce to affiliate marketing, and he wanted to know exactly how I was doing it. And then years later, we after that, and we exchanged then, and we got along pretty well. We even jumped on a few Skype calls after that, and we exchanged business ideas, business
Bro, I'm so annoyed. That happened so much. I was talking for so long. Holy shit. I was talking. Fuck. So I didn't hear anything I said for like the last 10 minutes. Shit. Fuck me. Fuck it. Um. Yeah. So now you should be able to hear me. Should be good. Put chat on screen on the bottom. Probably. Yeah. And then I'm gonna move the follow notifications below it. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, we were just trying to make a song on stream, but I can't figure out how to do this shit. So I'm gonna honestly probably just do it off stream, figure it out, or maybe just do it on. But we download Fortnite too, so we're gonna play Fortnite. Hello, bruh. Oh yeah, when my mic was muted, I said your clip was fire. The shorts, that was tough. Yeah. But we were just watching this random video I saw on the side of Luke Belmar being exposed.
models, right? Because I eventually went from doing e-commerce to affiliate marketing, and he wanted to know exactly how I was doing it. And then years later, we also
We're not
met
gonna
again
finish the video. I just
in
wanna.
Bali at the Capital Club meetup that he did. I also met his brother, and then later they
Solo
invited me
club.
to his villa, so we were able to have some private time there as well. So I want to share some things that I know that maybe some other people don't know about because of my unique position. But just as a disclaimer, I'm not a friend of his, right? Because now you might be listening to me and seeing all of this and like, oh, you're a friend of his, you're defending him. No, it's not like a friendship. It's more of an acquaintance kind of relationship, right? That's how I see him. So this is gonna come from a neutral standpoint. I don't want to be
What happened to?
and
Did
since
he get
some people
exposed?
have been asking me about this because they know that I know him and for so long, they want to know what's my take on it and if I have some like insights on it. So I do have it. And
They're saying everyone's a scammer
now,
these
the
days.
first thing, right? Let's go through the Twitter
Fuck.
thread that's gone out because this is like the main thing: 3.3 million views, and just go over some of the things that this guy is talking about. Which, the first thing, the whole name thing, like, oh, it's not Nate Belmar, Luke Belmar, it's Thies, or however that is pronounced. Look, just so that you have some context, I'm Spanish, and within the Spanish community, there's some influencers who are massive, way bigger than Luke. And there's been many incidents by these influencers who grew and they grew their personal brand with their real name that when they go out and they do hotel bookings, they do flight bookings, they all of these things that you actually have to use your real name, they've been robbed many times, right? Because the word spreads out. You do a hotel reservation, you're an influencer with, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 million followers. Someone who works at the hotel is gonna know who you are because you're massive. And what has happened many times is that these influencers go to this hotel, they
True.
leave their stuff, a lot of money, laptops, whatever. Then they go out, and because the information leaked by some employee or whatever, then they come back and they've been robbed. Right? So it is a
True.
danger actually to use your real name. This is something that I'm wondering with my YouTube channel. I'm still very small, and sometimes I think about it like, should I be using my real name because I'm doing so? So the whole thing, like, I don't think this is a big deal. The fact that he's not using his real name, I think it's completely understandable. And wanting to remove things like his wife, right? Because he removed the photo and some information, like, it is completely reasonable because the person that chose to be famous is him, not the wife, right? And especially within this community, right? Who's like so intrusive, like just the fact that we're creating this thread and we're talking about it, going deep into his private life, okay? This
Facts.
is the reason why he wants to keep these things private because like a lot of people online that talk about these things and in a way they have no life, which feels like a hypocrite because I'm kind of doing this right now. but it is completely reasonable, right? Because in this
Nah,
community,
fucking putting yourself out there. Do that shit.
money is he
Stream.
actually doing? How hot is his girlfriend or wife or whatever? How this and that? Like they want to know all of these things too, so that they can rank you within the hierarchy of how much of an alpha you are within like the Brad Pill community and all of this crap.
Facts.
So for sure he's gonna keep this thing private, but that's not relevant. The big thing that I think is the most
What
important.
the heck?
What I want to talk about that is very crucial is this part right here, right? The whole thing with Argentina coming alone at the age of 16, $200.
Facts.
Pilot.
That was a motivational story.
Look, if there is one thing that I want you to remember from this video is this, and what I want you to remember is like a few words. And
What?
This is something that
Tell me, Pau.
technicality of truth. That is what I want you to remember. The technicality of truth. Everything that Luke is saying, it is technically true, but it is polished. It is dramatized. It is made exciting for the purpose
That
of
is-
having more engaging content.
that
It
is
might not
smart.
be exactly as emotionally intense as he's actually
I like this guy.
describing, but that does not mean it is 100% false. So
Facts.
what do I mean by that? Let me give you examples with my own personal life. So, for example, if you go to my
Feels
website, right,
jacked.
I talk about a lot of things, and I talk also about business, or I publish this video on my YouTube channel, right, about how I went from 100K a month to zero, right, and then you go to my website and you can see.
Holy shit. This guy's. This guy's uploading daily with 30 views. This is a grinder. And he's making 100K a month. Holy fuck.
On my YouTube channel, right, about how I went from 100K a month to zero, right, and then you go to my website and you can see I explain to you what I know about business and how you can do the same. But here's the thing, right, when I say 100K a month, right, if I tell you I was able to scale an e-commerce store to 100K a month, that is true, that happened. But the thing is that, what does that exactly mean? First of all, this 100K a month, is it revenue or is it profit? Obviously it's not profit, right, it's revenue. How much profit was it? In my case, this was like 30-40% profit margin, right? So it's not 100K, it's between $30,000 and $40,000. Then, do you have business partners? You have to split it. How much? You have to split it by 2, by 3, by 4. How many people are working there? Then, are you also paying taxes on that profit, right? The profit that you're talking about. Is it pre-tax, post-tax?
The honest ass dude.
And also,
Okay.
the more important thing, for how long were you able to sustain this? Because if it was only a month, and I say I was able to scale an e-commerce store to 100K a month, and it was only 1 month, this is actually true. I'm not saying any lie. Even if it was 6 months, a year, like, you don't know. But I'm being like, yeah, I scale an e-commerce store to 100K a month. It's the same thing with this, right? Because after doing e-com, as I said before, I switched to affiliate marketing, and I was making like $3,000 a day with a 66% profit margin. So I was making $2,000 profit, right? And we're 2 business partners. So it was $1,000 for each a day profit, clean. For how long did I sustain this? That's up to your imagination. That's up to the emotional intensity of my story. And this is what Luke is doing in a way, right? He's like, this happened and this and that. And it's like, the thing is that based on the emotional impact that that story has on you, you're gonna make it even bigger of a deal than what it actually is, right? So for example, with this offer, this was only one offer that I was running. It's just a screenshot from Clickbank. This specific one of making 3K a day was like a month, if I remember correctly. Before that, I was running some other offer that I think I was only at like 2,000 a day or 1.5K a day. Then later on, I did some other stuff, right? But this exact snapshot, it's all technically it's true, even though this one specifically only lasted for a month. This screenshot right here. And then I have friends who are like big influencers, who I'm not gonna say the names, but they have courses online that every single year they make like 5 million a year with the launch, and they have like these massive screenshots of how I make $50,000 a day. But they told me how they got those screenshots. They basically boosted their ad revenue to like crazy levels, so that they're forced to have like, for sure you're gonna have like insane levels of revenue, right? If I was pushing 100K a month on Facebook ads, and I do it would be fairly easy to at least do 100K in revenue, even though there's no profit, right? But now I would have the screenshot to show you like, oh yeah, 100K a month. So some of the friends that I have, they've done that with screenshots with 50K a day, 100K a day, and things as such. So all of these things that you're reading from Luke, like, oh, at 16 I had $200 with. Also, by the way, like at 16, what did I have? 50 euros?
No cap.
Like, I don't know, I had nothing at 16. Okay, nowadays you see kids on crypto that have like 14 years and they make like 100K on crypto. That was not me. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, you can explain this story in a very dramatic way, but if you think about it, like, this is completely normal. I was in Argentina. I went to the US alone. It's like, you can take airplanes alone. It doesn't mean that it's a big drama, but it is technically true. Like, yeah, I took an airplane alone at 16 with $200 and a suitcase. Of course, you have a suitcase. You're traveling, right? So it's like, you see what I mean, right? Then this thing like cleaning toilets.
Smart dude.
Later on, he talks about, I don't know, the grandpa had some university or school or whatever. Maybe at 16, 17, 18, 19, he got a summer job somewhere, right? Because he was in college. And maybe some of the things that he had to do was to clean toilets, like maybe a couple days. It is technically true, but the way he explains it is like, yeah, I was cleaning toilets while I was building my empire and all of. Guys, come on, like it's just. I had a summer job once when I was in university as well. I went to university for 1 year and then I dropped out. Honestly, the job was very easy. I was doing basically nothing, but some days, because I was like kind of strong, some people who worked there were like, hey, can you actually help us to move this thing, right? And I was moving like bags for, I don't know, 15 minutes, that they were very heavy. So now I could be like, yeah, I had this summer job, and some days I would crack my bag, like moving these heavy things. It's like, I mean, technically it's true. It did happen, but I'm just making it a little bit more dramatic.
He
Right?
sees through all the business.
So all of these things
Smart
that you're
dude.
seeing on this tweet, like this is how you have to analyze this whole thing. Like, oh, he lied about it. Nah, he actually did not. Like the whole thing with Argentina going to the U.S., whatever. Like, I have friends who have multiple nationalities. I have one of my best friends. She's from Ecuador. It's a whole thing. It's the same thing. Like she was born in I don't know which country. She has the two nationalities, and sometimes the family is here, sometimes the family is there, and they go from here to there, and sometimes she travels alone, and there is a little bit of drama to it for sure. So it's basically the same thing. You're just making it more interesting and compelling, the story. So honestly, like all of these things about his private life, I don't think they're that relevant at all. Now, this whole thing about Nate, that he was fat and depressed, suicidal and depressed. Look, the fact that people achieve things does not necessarily mean that they're happy. Okay, so I published this video a few days ago. This one, your addictions are not the root of your problems, in which I explained that
True.
after I made all of this money,
True.
with e-commerce, with affiliate marketing, and then with crypto, I moved to Bali and I had everything. I had a bunch of money. I had a lot of women. I was in the place that I always wanted to be in. I was ripped and jacked. And after a couple of weeks, just a couple of weeks, I fell into a massive depression because I had lost my purpose in life and my direction. I was literally on the phone crying to a friend, like, what do I do with my life now? So the fact that people are like, oh, he was a model and he was in movies. Oh yeah, I'm sure he was super suicidal and depressed. Like, come on, it doesn't. How haven't you seen so many times that movie stars suicide, they take drugs and they kill themselves? Like, this is nothing new. Now the whole fat thing, yeah, okay, I mean maybe this is a little bit more debatable, but again, the technicality of truth, right? If you look at his body, and maybe he has some other photos where he got actually even fatter, and you could not even see a little bit of abs for his body type and his natural state of what he should be like. Yeah, he was a little bit overweight, so he was actually kind of fat. But it doesn't mean that he was like this massive guy who had these massive belly. So again, like just technicality of truth. I know that I sound like a broken record.
Technicality of truth, boys.
Yeah, for sure, there's some things that I don't agree with Nate, right? I remember when I was talking with him, he said that you can change the shape of his abs. When he said that, I was like, that's not true, okay? And you can see now with his old photos that his abs look basically the same as they do now. He was not as lean as he is now, but the structure of his body is basically the same, right? So, and I knew that was kind of bullshit when he said it. And this is something, right? Because these are photos of how I look that you can also find on my website, right? Because I have like these guides. So if you go to the health section, like I've always, my cousins also have this
jacked ass
like,
dude,
like
bruh.
very bulky, like square,
but
these big blocks. You can, I don't think you can change how your abs look. You can make them so you can see a big difference here, right? Here they're not. I'm not as lean here, and then you look here, and now I'm way more lean. I have the veins popping, everything. The sides too, right? Here you can, I mean, you can still see the sides, but analyze the structure of my abs. It is.
Why are we talking about this dude's abs?
So I don't buy it, but again,
I'm watching an exposed video on a reaction to an expose of this guy I watch here and there. I used to watch a lot, or like at a point, just a guy who runs businesses and shit.
Okay, and then some other.
I don't know who this guy is.
Has a YouTube channel. So what's the big deal with this? You work as a Spanish translator. I also once gave Spanish classes online, and then like his dad had an online presence, consulting company. Like, so what? He wasn't. But what's the big deal with this? You work as a
My fault.
Okay, and then some other stuff like his mom has a YouTube
Oh,
channel. So what's the
audio's quiet as fuck.
You work as a Spanish translator. I also once gave Spanish classes online, and then like his dad had an online presence, consulting company. Like, so what? He was in college. Okay, and here's the thing, like, I also have like a very bad opinion on college as well. I was there for a year. I dropped out.
Audio should be
but
better now.
I still went. So I don't see what the big deal is by the fact that he was in college. Maybe I missed something, and he said that he never went to college, but as far as I know, he's never claimed that. And then also this thing that I find absolutely ridiculous. His already account, he was into Binance, streaming and playing on his Xbox. Look, this is the problem, I think, with building the kind of audience that Luke has been building, which is honestly a bunch of kids, with all due respect, who believe that everyone is perfect. And Luke was born this perfect being, this enlightened being, that he was a master of business from age one and super smart, super sharp, and he never made any mistake and his life is perfect. So no, Luke is a normal guy that had to figure everything out, right? And these are the classic cringy Reddit posts like, oh, my Xbox thing is not working, whatever. It is completely normal, okay? I was also playing a lot of video games when I was younger.
Facts.
A lot of video games. I'm sure
Facts.
way more video games than
What's
me.
your
And
guys'
nowadays,
favorite
I
video
don't play
game?
anymore. So I don't see
I
how
used to play
this
a lot
is
of Fortnite.
relevant at all. I think he even talked about the fact that he used to play a lot of video games. So I don't see what the big deal is. Like, oh, this is his Reddit account and he used to play a lot of video games. Now, the whole thing about him overreacting and being so passive aggressive with his comments, I want you to try to put yourself in his shoes, right? This is a post that has 3.3 million impressions. Only on Twitter. Then there's stuff on Instagram. There's even a Telegram channel. There's going to be stuff on YouTube. There's going to be private messages. He has his online community, like on Discord. A lot of people were talking about it there as well. Can you imagine how overwhelming that must be? Just for context, on my channel, I had a video that was quite controversial, this one. Music is making you stupid. I made this video, and the thing is that music, for a lot of people, is something that is part of their identity. And if all of a sudden I'm like, no, yeah, music is actually making you stupid, you're gonna be offended by it because it's gonna feel as if I am attacking your identity. And what happened is exactly that. And a lot of people got very aggressive with me, and they started calling me names. They started to call me stupid and this, and who are you? And they started to say very mean things based on this video, and also a short that I had that had like, I don't remember, 10,000 views, which is not that much. We're just talking about like a short of 10,000 views and a video with 600 views, which is nothing. And I still remember like those days I would wake up, I would see maybe here like 4 notifications on YouTube, and I would be like, oh my God. And I felt like this thing, right? Because it's the first time that I'm having an online presence and I'm not used to this stuff. So now imagine if you go on Twitter, it's not 1 notification, it's like plus 99. And it feels as if the whole internet is hating on you and looking at your life and looking at your family and your wife and this, and calling you a liar, all of that stuff. And you could be like, oh, but it's the consequence of what you've done. It like you made it to yourself. But like, come on, as we've been analyzing the technicality of truth, like,
do hate comments get to you guys?
And for sure, like, and I mean, if you've been following Luke for a while,
Like if someone called you a bitch, what you gonna do?
You know, he has a bit of an ego, right? And you can see that I think on some video he even admitted this, that it is something that he's working on controlling his ego. So I think the important thing here, and this might actually be the most important thing in the entire video, what you need to learn how to do, in case you don't know how to do it as well, what you need to learn how to do is how to discern good ideas from bad ones, not with ad hominems, but by analyzing with your own brain whether that idea is valid or not, whether it's cohesive, whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Just by the analysis of the idea itself, not the things that surround the person who's conveying that idea, right? So not being like, oh, Luke has, I don't know, $35 million that he made with crypto, so everything that he says, like that's everything that he says is true. Oh, he bought a McLaren, 100% true. I'm just gonna listen to this guy, and everything that this guy says, like, for sure he knows more about me than in anything, right? No, just like, especially when it comes to these philosophical topics, right? Like with my YouTube channel, like it's just like talking about addictions and narcissism, personality, how to focus, opportunities, like all these more philosophical concepts, even like from Hinduism and religion, psychedelics, all of those things. What does the fact that I had an e-commerce store that was making $100K a month have to do with anything? You don't need it. You can just watch my videos and be like, does this guy know what he's talking about or not? This is something that's very important. So stop relying on ad hominems, like, oh, this guy has this certification or has this title or has this achievement. Like, for sure, it is an indicator that you might know what you're talking about, but it's not the sole truth. Let me tell you, I've been around so many successful people, like you could not even imagine. There are so many people who have a lot of money, who are really good at business, who are like so dumb. So dumb, like you could not even imagine, you could not even believe it. Why? Because they only got this good at this thing.
Says the same thing.
Right? They were like, they found a business model, they focused on it so much, they made it work, but that's it. Everything out of this small circle, they're like really stupid. Now, also for sure, I've met a lot of people who are really good at business, who are extremely bright. For sure, it is a correlation. this kind of level of success is going to be correlated with intelligence, but it is not causative. Not everyone who has made a lot of money means like they're super geniuses, okay? But for some reason nowadays you see someone with a Lambo or a Bugatti and you're like, oh, this guy, he must be super smart. Well, he might be smart in business, but not everything in life, okay? So stop putting people on a pedestal, because that is the problem, right? And you see this thing.
That is why materialism cannot value who you are. That's what I learned.
And you're like, oh,
Facts.
he used to play video games. I cannot believe it. Luke Belmar play video games. Like, stop putting people on a pedestal just because they have money or they have a Lambo or a McLaren or a Bugatti or whatever it is. So all I'm saying is that you need to be able to listen to him and by your own analysis realize what is useful for you and what is not. You keep the good things and you discard the bad things. Because even if not everything that he shares is valuable, there's some things undeniably that are very, very, very good. And if you want to know my exact take on him, for me personally, Luke, when I've been with him one-on-one, it's been like a 10 out of 10 guy. Whenever we've been on calls, at the Singapore Mastermind, later when we met on Bali, like he's always been really helpful. He's actually helped me a lot. But I also have the take that his online presence and his online content, I actually don't dig it that much. I actually don't like it, right? So it's like this kind of thing. Like I'm holding these contradicting ideas at the same time. Like in person, I really like him, but then online, not so much. And just remember that the heroes are not as good and the villains are not as bad. Okay? Stop seeing everyone and everything so black and white. Like it's either this thing or that thing. Usually the truth is in the middle. But again, this is the problem with building an audience
Pau
in
Oliver.
the way that he's
Smartest
doing.
dude.
And it kind of feels like a cult. I'm also in some of his communities.
1.5k subs, 250 videos. This is grinding. This guy's hustling. Damn. He's putting in work on that whiteboard, motherfucker. No cap. Like all this shit. Just work hard. No cap. Just start the stream, boys. Just start the stream. This is a good concept. I like this guy. This guy has good ideas. Yes.
E-Man Gadsy.
Okay. Finish
Using Capital Club, and honestly, it's horrible. Like you go in, and all of these messages of people like just copying the way he speaks, speaking in the same way, sending that alien emoji, and being like, "Oh, I'm a glitch, escaping the Matrix," and the dojo, and all of this stuff. It's just like, oh my god, it's just horrible. Okay, it's horrible. I dislike it so much. You don't have independent thinkers. You just have blind followers who do exactly what you do, and they mimic everything that you say. So if you're one of those and you're watching this video, please do not subscribe to my channel, because I don't want this kind of following, okay? I barely have any followers. Do not subscribe to me, because I want people who have long attention spans, who can sit down and watch like a 10-minute video, 6-minute video, 8-minute video with no music, no editing, talking about some philosophical concept. So anyways, that's it. I hope you got some value out of it. I think they're gonna release like part 2 of this drama or whatever. I don't think I'm gonna make a video on it. But yeah, I hope at least someone got
Shoutout Pau
value out
Oliver.
of this. Leave me a like, leave me a comment.